Well, kids, let me take you back to the bustling streets of Chicago, where Emily Harrington ruled the corporate world like a queen on her throne. Emily was the CEO of Harrington Tech, a powerhouse company making billions off software that tracked folks' every move. She was sharp as a tack, with her designer suits and that icy stare that could freeze Lake Michigan in July. But Emily wasn't just ambitious, she was ruthless. She'd step on anyone to climb higher. Enter Jack Thompson, a hard-working engineer at her company. Jack was your everyday American dad, living in a modest suburb with his wife, Sarah, and their little girl, Lily, who was just 5 and full of giggles. Sarah worked in HR at Harrington Tech too, but when Emily caught wind of a minor slip-up, something about a delayed report, she fired Sarah on the spot. "No room for weakness," Emily snarled in that boardroom meeting. Jack begged her to reconsider, explaining Sarah was fighting cancer and needed the insurance. But Emily just laughed it off. "Business is business, Mr. Thompson. Adapt or get left behind." That firing hit the Thompsons hard. Without insurance, Sarah's treatment stopped and she passed away 6 months later, leaving Jack a single dad, drowning in grief and bills. He quit Harrington Tech, vowing someday he'd make Emily pay for what she'd done. Lily grew up hearing stories of her mom, and Jack scraped by as a freelance mechanic, fixing cars in his garage. He channeled his anger into raising Lily right, teaching her kindness despite the world's cruelty. Years rolled by, and Emily's empire grew. She divorced her husband, had no kids, said they were distractions. But deep down, she felt empty, though she'd never admit it. She drove her fancy Mercedes like she owned the road, cutting deals that ruined smaller companies. One rainy night, speeding home from a late meeting, she hydroplaned right into a guardrail. The crash was brutal, twisted metal, sirens blaring. Doctors said her spine was shattered. She'd never walk again. Paralyzed from the waist down, Emily woke up in that sterile hospital room, alone and terrified. As word spread, Jack heard about it through old work buddies. He sat in his kitchen, staring at the news on his phone, a storm brewing in his chest. Revenge? It was tempting. But life has a funny way of twisting the knife. Little did Emily know, the man she'd broken was about to cross her path again. And that's where our story really heats up, folks. Stick around for part 2. All right, grandkids, Grandpa Joe's back with part 2. Grab your popcorn because things are getting intense. After that crash, Emily Harrington lay in her hospital bed at Chicago General, staring at the ceiling like it held all the answers. The pain was something fierce, but worse was the helplessness. Nurses buzzed around, but no family visited. No one cared for the queen who'd burned every bridge. Emily's mind raced back to her glory days, but now she was just a broken woman in a wheelchair. Therapy sessions were grueling. She'd scream in frustration, lashing out at the staff. "I built an empire. I don't need pity," she'd yell. But inside, fear gnawed at her. Who'd run the company? Who'd take care of her? Her board was already plotting to oust her, whispering about her unfit state. One day, a physical therapist named Maria suggested a support group for spinal injury folks. Emily scoffed at first. "I'm not like them," but desperation won out. She wheeled into that community center meeting, feeling eyes on her. There, sharing stories, was Jack Thompson. He volunteered there, helping out after his own losses, teaching folks how to adapt with gadgets he'd tinkered in his garage. Jack spotted Emily right away, that face he'd never forget. His blood boiled. This was the woman who'd cost him Sarah, but he played it cool, introducing himself as a volunteer. Emily, vulnerable for the first time, opened up a bit. "I can't even get out of bed without help," she admitted, tears welling. The group shared tips, and Jack demonstrated a custom lift he'd built for wheelchairs. After the meeting, Emily's driver was late, leaving her stranded in the rain. Jack offered a ride in his old pickup. Reluctant, she accepted. On the way, she broke down. "Please don't hurt me," she begged suddenly, her voice shaking. "I can't walk. I can't defend myself." Jack pulled over, confused. "Why would I hurt you?" he asked. That's when it hit her. Something familiar about him. "Thompson? From Harrington Tech?" she whispered. Jack nodded. his jaw tight. "You fired my wife, Sarah. She died because of you." Emily's face went pale. She begged for forgiveness, terrified he'd dump her on the curb or worse. "I was wrong. Please, just get me home safe." Jack drove on in silence, dropping her off without a word. But as he left, a plan formed. Not violent revenge, but something smarter, something that'd make her feel the pain she'd cause. He called an old lawyer buddy, digging into Emily's past deals. Turns out she'd cut corners, hid scandals. Jack had evidence from his time there. Back home, Lily asked why he looked so fired up. "Sometimes, sweetie, justice comes slow," he said. Emily, alone in her mansion, couldn't sleep, fearing the single dad she'd wronged. Little did she know, he was about to change everything. Whew, that's a cliffhanger. See you in part 3. Howdy again, folks. Grandpa Joe here, continuing our tale. We're at part 3, where the rubber meets the road. Jack Thompson paced his small living room that night, the weight of the world on his shoulders. Lily was asleep upstairs, dreaming innocent dreams, while Jack wrestled with his demons. Revenge burned hot in his veins. Emily Harrington had taken everything from him. With the dirt he'd uncovered, he could sue her company, expose her fraud, and watch her empire crumble while she sat helpless in that chair. He thought back to Sarah's last days, how she'd begged him to let go of the anger. "Don't let it poison you, Jack," she'd whispered. But seeing Emily begging in his truck, it stirred something complicated, pity mixed with fury. The next day, Jack dove deeper. Using old contacts, he found proof of Emily's shady deals, bribing officials, falsifying reports that led to layoffs like Sarah's. He could leak it all, ruin her forever. Meanwhile, Emily spiraled in her empty mansion. Paranoia set in. She hired security, thinking Jack might strike. "He's got motive," she told her assistant, voice trembling. Therapy wasn't helping. She'd snap at the home nurse, refusing exercises. One evening, a knock came. It was Jack, standing there with a toolbox. "What do you want?" she snapped, wheeling back. "I volunteer at the center," he said calmly. "Heard you need home mods for accessibility. Ramps, lifts, that sort of thing." Emily eyed him suspiciously. "Why help me?" "After what I did," Jack shrugged. "Maybe I want to see you squirm up close." But truth was, he was testing the waters, seeing if revenge felt right. He installed a ramp, all while dropping hints about her past. "Remember that merger in 18? "Sketchy stuff," he'd say casually. Emily broke. "Please, don't hurt me more. I can't walk, can't run from this." Tears streamed as she confessed. Her own dad had been ruthless, pushing her to be the same. "I became a monster to prove myself." Jack listened, his heart softening a tad. Lily joined one day, bringing cookies. "Daddy says helping heals," the girl said innocently. Seeing Lily, reminding her of what she'd never had, cracked Emily's shell. But Jack's dilemma grew. Leak the files and get revenge, or use them to force change? He confided in a buddy over beer. "She begs like Sarah did for her job," the friend advised. "Revenge ain't always destruction. Make her fix what she broke." Jack nodded, an idea forming. He'd confront her, demand she reinstate benefits for fired folks, fund cancer research in Sarah's name. If not, boom, expose it all. As weeks passed, Jack's help became regular. Emily started therapy for real, pushing through pain. But tension simmered. One night she found an envelope. Jack's evidence. "What now?" she whispered. Jack's choice would change everything. Hang tight for part 4, y'all. It's getting good. Welcome back, dear viewers. It's Grandpa Joe, warming up by the hearth for part 4 of our emotional roller coaster. Things are heating up, so let's jump right in. Emily Harrington stared at that envelope in her trembling hands. The evidence Jack had left on her kitchen counter. Photos, emails, records of her dirty deals, all spelling doom for her career. "He's gonna destroy me," she muttered, wheeling to the window where rain pelted the glass like her regrets. Jack, meanwhile, was home tuckering Lily in. "Why do you help that lady, Daddy? She seems sad," the girl asked. Jack sighed. "Sometimes, sweetie, people need a second chance to make things right." But inside, he wasn't sure. Revenge tempted him like a siren's call. Imagining Emily begging in court, losing it all. Yet seeing her vulnerability reminded him of Sarah's fight. The next morning, Jack showed up at Emily's door. "We need to talk," he said flatly. She let him in, eyes red from crying. "Please don't hurt me further. I can't walk, can't fight this." Jack laid it out. "You ruined lives, including mine. But I'm giving you a choice. Use your power to fix it. Reinstate benefits for everyone you fired unjustly. Donate to cancer funds in Sarah's name, and step down if you can't change." Emily balked. "That'd bankrupt me." But fear won. She agreed to meet with lawyers. As days turned to weeks, something shifted. Jack kept volunteering, helping with her rehab. Emily pushed harder, standing with braces for the first time. "I feel alive," she admitted one session. Jack shared stories of Sarah, and Emily opened up about her lonely childhood, her dad's abuse forcing her to harden. "I thought weakness was fatal," she said. Lily became a bridge, visiting with drawings. "You're getting stronger, Miss Emily," the girl cheered. Emily's heart thawed. She started mentoring Lily remotely, teaching her coding. But revenge lingered. Jack held the evidence as leverage. Then came the turning point. Emily's board called a meeting to boot her. Wheelchair-bound, she faced them alone. "I've changed," she pleaded, but they laughed. That's when Jack burst in, uninvited. "She's got proof of your corruption too," he bluffed, backing her up. Stunned, the board backed off. Emily stared at him. "Why save me?" Jack paused. "Revenge ain't about destruction. It's about making you see the pain you caused and fix it." Tears flowed as Emily signed over funds for Sarah's foundation. "I'm sorry, Jack. Truly." Back home, Jack burned the evidence. Choosing forgiveness. Emily, inspired, revamped her company for good. Ethical tech, helping families. But was it over? Not quite. A final twist awaited. Join me for the grand finale in part 5, folks. You won't want to miss it. Well, hello there, my faithful listeners. Grandpa Joe's wrapping up this tale with part 5. We've been through the ringer, haven't we? Let's see how it all shakes out. After that boardroom showdown, Emily Harrington emerged a changed woman. She funneled millions into the Sarah Thompson Foundation, funding cancer research and support for single parents. Her company shifted gears. No more shady deals, just innovative tech helping folks, like apps for the disabled. Emily even testified against corrupt execs, cleaning house in the industry. Jack watched from afar at first, wary, but when Emily invited him and Lily to the foundation's launch, he went. There, in front of cameras, Emily wheeled to the podium. "I was a monster," she admitted publicly. "I hurt people like Jack Thompson, whose wife paid the ultimate price. Please forgive me if you can." The crowd gasped as she turned to Jack. "You changed everything, not with hate, but with grace." Jack stepped up, hugging her awkwardly. Revenge was tempting, but redemption sweeter. Lily beamed, handing Emily a flower. "You're walking in spirit now." The moment went viral. Headlines screamed, "Paralyzed CEO's emotional turnaround, thanks to single dad." Months later, Emily's therapy paid off. With Jack's custom braces, she took shaky steps. Not full recovery, but enough to dance at Lily's birthday party. Jack and Emily grew close, not romance, but a deep friendship. He consulted for her company, building gadgets that changed lives. Lily thrived, calling Emily Ann M. But here's the sweet revenge twist, kids. Emily's confession exposed her old rivals, who crashed and burned. Jack got justice without lifting a finger. Her change was the ultimate payback, forcing her to live with the guilt while rebuilding. "You didn't hurt me," Emily told Jack one evening over coffee. "You healed me." Years on, Jack remarried a kind teacher, but never forgot Sarah. Emily became a philanthropist, advocating for the vulnerable. "I couldn't walk," she'd say in speeches, "but kindness carried me." And that's the end, folks. A story of how revenge can morph into something beautiful if you let it. Remember, holding grudges weighs you down. Forgiveness lifts you up. Thanks for listening to Grandpa Joe's Yarn. If you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. What's your story of turning pain into power? Till next time, stay kind out there.